I did read a few stories last month, and I'd like to just continue with a few more. This is from a book that we've been working on, Bob Brady's stories about the big elsewhere. These are stories of living on Mount Horite in Shiga, moving there from Kyoto, becoming one with the source of where everything comes from, the country, countryside stories, and family stories, and a whole lot of very small, beautiful perceptions of what is actually going on out there. But he also still commuted. He went to Osaka a few days a week, and so there are some stories there from that side as well. This one's called Waiting for My Train. I just picked these almost at random, but I think these are some good stories. I can't do his accent, so I'm just going to read it the way I read it. Standing on the rush hour train platform today, heading home from the big city for the 10 minutes or so before my train came, I looked individually at the folks crowding the opposite platform, waiting for their train. Each of us thinks of the train as their own. I was standing on my platform, waiting for my train. Mostly working men and women, with some travellers and their luggage, some elders, a few kids, many teenagers, on their ways here and there, all standing neatly in their lines for their doors to their trains, some reading, some chatting, some laughing, staring at cell phones, some far away in thought, some sad looking, some depressed, many tired or simply zoned, some worried. Then, as if I were looking at a work of superfine art in a meta museum, the picture suddenly opened up to me, and I saw what the artist had in mind. That each of these people and faces and lives had a long and unbroken history back through their forebears, all the way to the beginning of time. A history that was slipping by, unremarked and unrecorded at every moment, and always had been and always would be, as long as human life lived on. And that if you left out what was common to them all, the quotidia, the repetitions of daily life, what astonishing tales would remain. What a story, and stories that were there in all those current minds and endless pasts, concealed and unspoken. Each of these lives, at all its moments, was richer in beauty, tragedy and comedy than the greatest plays and stories ever written. And what we call history is but a wisp of a vapour of this vastness, a biased, uneven, selected record of all that has in fact been lived and felt and known. And what then is fact? History, our guide and justification, is as thick as the print on a page, as fixed as the image on a movie screen. Then came the thought that this epic, all of these people and all their lives, so few of all there are, all their moments, countless moments in their length and depth and feeling. How do you count a moment? Were passing unseen, even as we stood there, waiting for our train. This is another short one from the train. On the train tonight, a lovely young woman sat in front of me who was a Zen archer. She was carrying a long bamboo bow, its full length carefully wrapped in a fabric traditionally dyed a splendid, rare, basic orange tint that bore other bright colours like the bingata of Okinawa, in a pattern that was also traditional of anciently stylized flowers, birds and butterflies, the bow reaching from the floor to well above the luggage rack. Affixed to the bow by a wide leather wrapping was the lady's quiver of arrows, basically a capped tube about half the length of the bow. It too was a gorgeous object, finished in a greyish, elegantly patterned cloth and set with silver fittings. Circled at intervals with bands of smooth grey leather, it had a shiny brown, hard leather cap at the top, held in place by finely braided strips of grey leather. Seated atop the leather cap was a figure I took at first to be a Netsuke of an ancient god or something spiritually similar. I leaned closer for a better look without being intrusive. This was Zen, after all. I saw that it was a tiny figure of Goofy wearing baggy blue pants. The arrow and the target are one. Thanks, Bob, appreciate your warmth. Again, last one. Brand new world. On the train the other morning, I saw a poster for one of the local ski resorts, boasting that it had been in business since 1964. Since the poster featured a picture of two women in the style of the 1930s or so, I first laughed inwardly at the designer's naivety in thus interpreting the 60s, until it struck me that it was I who was being naive. This was most likely the way most skiers now, who are predominantly in their 20s, view the 1960s. They view that quaint, free life time period in the same way I, who was born in 1940, have always viewed the 1930s. Then came the exponential rush that this same realization washes over each generation in its turn. What gives older folk that distant look they sometimes have in their eyes? I never knew what that look was until now, when I felt it in my own gaze. It is the look of having once lived in a land that is no more, that is now only reported upon occasionally with less and less accuracy as time goes by. The 60s were now ancient history. That immediate, memorable, exciting time of my life. Indeed, of all life subsequent, whether it knows it or not. That post-Screaming Jay Hawkins, Little Richard, Buddy Holly, Elvis, rock and roll, Beatles, politics, Dylan, Benzedrine, Hendrix, civil rights, LSD, Stones, Vietnam War, Joplin, sexual liberation, Doors, mescaline, college madness, summer of love, Woodstock, Washington, protest march, marijuana melange. Was now ranked at the dawn of democracy in Athens. So it was exciting there on this morning's train. Suddenly become the express train of history. To sit there looking out of time-rich eyes at the world rolling by in a newness all my own. That book will be hopefully published in a couple of months. So I look forward to showing that. It's your time.
No, I don't know if you remember, Ken, Bob Brady did an evening at a long time ago at the Fiasco.
Yes.
It was like a stand-up comedy act. He was brilliant. He read his own stuff, and he was just fantastic. So this is really reminiscent of that. So that's really good. Thank you. Yeah. Phil, so sorry, but we've been waiting for you. So come on up and bring us home.
Hey.
Does that sound cool?
Yeah.